We're going to consider one more example. In this example, we're going to decide what sampling method is going to result in a sample that is going to better represent the population of interest. Okay? So suppose ABC College has 10,000 part-time students. We are interested in the average amount of money a part-time student spends on books in the fall term. Due to our low funding for the study, we're going to consider the following two sampling methods. So let's look at both options. Sample 1 would be the sample resulting from a cluster sampling method. In this case, the population was separated according to their division: math, English, business and law, science, social science, and so on. There's a total of 12 divisions, and each division was numbered from 1 to 12. Then we see that 3 divisions were randomly selected to be part of the sample. Okay, so remember, once you determine how many clusters you have, in this case we have 12, you're going to assign a number to each of those clusters. So we have 1 through 12, and then you're going to use a random number generator to select. In this case, it seems like they were selecting 3 numbers from 1 to 12. Okay, so 3 divisions out of the 12. It seems like they randomly selected the math, science, and English. And so for this sample, we're going to have all individuals from the math, science, and English divisions participate. So that is the first sample. Now let's look at sample number 2, which was selected by using the stratified sampling method. In this case, the population was separated according to their division. So we have math, English, business, law, science, social science, and so on. Again, we have a total of 12 divisions. All students within each division were assigned a unique number. Then 15 students from each division were randomly selected to be part of the sample. Okay, so again, once you have the population separated into divisions, you're going to take, for example, the math division. You're going to create a list of all the students in the math division. You're going to give them a unique number, and then you're going to use a random generator to select 15 students from that list. Okay? And you're going to do that for each group. So in this case, sample number 2 is going to contain 15 students from each of the 12 divisions. Now, here's the question. Do you think that either of these samples is going to represent the entire part-time student population? Again, the entire part-time student population is composed of 10,000 students. So what are your thoughts about sample 1? Sample number 1 is going to contain students from the math, science, and English divisions only. We don't get to hear from anyone else. Let's go ahead and write that. So because we don't get to hear from students from other divisions, okay, and I think we can agree that other divisions might have a lower cost for textbooks compared to the math, science, and English division. Okay, so we're thinking sample number 1 is not going to represent the entire population. So sample number 1 is not a good representation of the population. What about sample number 2? Sample number 2 is going to be a better representation of the population. Why? Because it contains individuals from all 12 divisions. So again, we would say that this is a better representation of the population. And so I wanted to include this example to help you think about how do we decide what sampling method we're going to use. When we decide what sampling method we're going to use, we're going to think about how much funding do we have? What is the research question? Okay. So for example, here, the research question is, how much money do part-time students spend on books in the fall term? So because this is our question, it is really important to hear from students within each division. So again, here, the goal is to ensure that the sample is a good representation of the population. We are at the end of the lesson. Please make sure to consider some of the problems on WAMAP after this lesson. It's really important for you to get more practice on your own. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. If you're going to email me, please make sure to do it via Canvas. I will always be able to get back to you faster if you email me through Canvas.